Before we get very far into our next story, we do have a warning for you tonight. What you're about to see and hear may not be suitable for children. Tonight, take a walk in their world.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Transpicuous News. We're going to do a geomagnetic update. It is October 8th. Now, I've put a few little geomagnetic updates out over the last 2 days because things have been a little crazy again. Well, no, let's not say again. That sounds like it stopped for a while. No, it's never stopped. Let's just say it reached a new level of crazy this last couple of days. There's some interesting shit going on. Today specifically, though, I went onto Facebook, and Facebook does those memories for you. Oh, look, 4 years ago, 2015, I posted a geomagnetic update. And the images are worth noting. And I thought it was well worth sitting here for a few minutes and showing you guys to give a perspective on the difference. So I'm going to take you back. We're going to look at what's going on right now, but I'm going to show you also what was going on exactly 4 years ago to the day, to bring a little bit of balance and maybe a little more of a comprehension of why people like myself are going like, what the fuck is going on? This is crazy. Anyways, let's go share the screen. I'm going to show you what's going on first right now. Yes, epic insanity. Let me back up a little. Let's just say since September, we've had a lot of problems with the various satellites going down, the satellite feeds going down. We're losing days at a time. Huge chunks are disappearing. Sometimes they come back a week later, sometimes they don't. Right now, we are glitching out at about twice a day. Interestingly enough, twice a day, you'll get 3 to 4 hour chunks of the feed goes missing. Now, I just went through and looked at satellites. They do seem to coincide when the satellites are in certain positions around the planet versus solar facing, earth facing, etc. We didn't have those blackouts though in 2015, because I just went back and reviewed all the material again. Went, oh look, it didn't seem to have a satellite eclipse issues back in 2015. Satellite eclipse issues are talking about basically at certain points the satellites go beyond, say between, if they're watching the sun, the earth gets in the way, the satellite goes here, and there's a blackout, an eclipse happens for the satellite. That's why we'll see things like we're on the X-ray flux, we see a daily tick, 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 tick. But that eclipse seems to only happen once a day on the X-ray and proton flux. Yet we're seeing it in the feeds here at least twice a day. And those didn't happen in 2015. So I'm going to show you really quickly. This is to give you an idea. Now you guys know, if anyone has been watching these knows that usually if I line this up, you can only do 300 frames at a time, which is why I end up with the multiple screens pulled up. Usually we will get about 18 hours of footage fits into that 300 frames. Yet here we are, look, we're already way back at the 6th. That's how many frames are missing from the feed. So I'm going to show you, this started in on the 7th. I'm going to fast forward here. You can see, look, there's our blip, right? We go from here, hold on, there we go, from 2009, 8 p.m. UTC, and then all of a sudden it jumps to midnight. Boom. Now I'm going to take you through, and we're going to see, because it goes, and we have another little jump that goes on here. It's not so bad, not so bad, till we get to, our second. Oh, look at that, I'm jumping way ahead. Midnight. Now at 3 a.m. or so, let's see it again. Boom, it jumps to 7:43. Now you're going to see, this is where we have these epic blasts come in, and we're going to pause, and I'm going to show you a few places things that I want you to take note of, because we're going to go back and do the comparison to 2015. Okay, so I'm going to take this through frame by frame so you can see this coming in. Now, here is the wave. Here is the blast coming in. So I want you to take note of, first of all, the density, which is the red, which is showing you your density. The density of this coming in. Look at the effect on the field, your magnetosphere, the magnetopause as well. Look at this, the effect as it comes in. We're going to go frame by frame. Boom. Comes in, and you can see instantly it collapsing all the way here. The polar cap magnetic lines are being pushed all around. So again, we're going to go through and watch this blast comes through. Again, look at the intensity. Look at the red. Look at the thickness of it, the width, if you will, the intensity on the inside. Okay, and look at how it is just pushing the magnetic lines back. Okay, huge blast. Now here comes a second blast. Boom, here comes the next blast is coming in. And we're seeing the big tangled mess of magnetic lines here. Okay, and then we're going to flash forward a bit, and we're going to go really, really fast here. Till we get to about 11 o'clock in the morning, when boom, here comes our next blast comes in again. So again, note, look at the intensity of this coming into. And it comes through, pushes everything right back. The entire magnetic fields are just bouncing and rebounding back and forth. Oh, look, 12 noon, it jumps to 3 o'clock, 3:45. We're now on the 7th. Now I'm going to fast forward over this because, again, we have a few little blasts that come in, etc., etc. Oh, we jump again to 2300. Now we're coming here, we're going to 2 o'clock in the morning, it's going to jump again. Oh, we're back to 7 o'clock in the morning again. And again, watch this. This is this morning, going on just after 8 UTC. There's the blast comes in, another blast comes in, another blast comes in, another blast comes in, another blast, and there we have it. That's all I can get to. It is now 3:11. Central European time, which is 2:11 UTC. I can only get the feed up to 9:45 this morning UTC. So you've seen it. You saw the blast coming in. You saw the massive bands of red and the effect on all the the polar caps, the IMF, the closed magnetic field lines. You saw the effect. Okay, we're going to go to the magnetopause. Okay, I'm going to pull this up front. Okay, I guess we should wind this back. Okay, same time, basic same timestamp. We're going to flash forward till 7 o'clock in the morning yesterday. Sorry, guys, as I try and get this timed right. There we go. I want you to take note of certain things we're going to see here. Okay, here comes the blast. Look at the compression. This is the compression I've been talking about for months now. That when we see this compression comes in, it is pushing the magnetopause literally almost into the satellite line. This dotted line is representing the satellite's orbits. Okay, these are your two little satellites. That tells you the satellite position as this blast is coming in. This being Earth here, the light side being sun facing, the dark side being the opposite or nighttime. Okay. We see the compression. Okay, we see it come through again, a more compression as these are hitting. I want you to note these. Note the color of the magnetopause here. Okay, now we're going up to 9 o'clock. We're really going to skip through this really fast. Sorry, guys. Should have just manually gone through this, I guess. Again, there's our next blast and compression. And I want you to, again, note Look at the kind of reactionary things that we're seeing. Look at the secondary lines, the colors, okay? Now I'm going to fast forward us again. We've seen massive blasts coming in to the blast that came in again this morning. So we'll skip to, here we are, 7:32 in the morning. Sorry, getting eaten by mosquitoes. Here we go. I'm going to show you the blast that came in, that massive. Again, note that we have compression, note the color of the intensity. Okay, now, these are the kind of things I want you to note. Note this, the secondary forward line. We are seeing this a lot this year. Note, again, the color, the intensity right here on the magnetopause as it's actually distorting the magnetopause. And look at these secondary lines. Note this here is crazy stuff. We don't see this stuff. This is not something that you normally see. So we see there again, massive compression as the blast comes in. Okay, we're looking at the secondary lines again. Again, these strange lines coming out through the middle here. And there's one of the next blasts comes in. And you're noting the color. Like I said, blast after blast until basically we can't see anything anymore. We're at the end of it. But you guys have a good feel for that, right? Good feel for that. I'm going to take you back to 2015, and this is where I talk about continuously. There is a radical difference in what we saw then versus what we're seeing now. And this is why people like myself are watching this like a hawk and saying, what the actual fuck is going on here? I'm going to show you, first of all, nope, wrong one. Here we go. So this is the image from 2015. This is our sun on the day exactly 4 years ago. I want you to note the coronal holes. We had a coronal hole that was massive, that encompassed almost the entire northern section of the sun, and this huge behemoth down here on the equatorial region. These coronal holes caused a spike in the solar winds, went up to about 11, there were spikes that were showing, and I'll show you them, around 1100 kilometers per second, and generated a geomagnetic storm of up to a KP7, which is a serious geomagnetic storm, as you can see from we're looking at here, okay? I'm going to take you back now. So that's what the sun looked like. Let me show you what the sun looks like now. This is our sun now. We have a tiny little hole at the top, which is always there for the most part. We have two insignificant, and I mean seriously insignificant, coronal holes at the moment, here and here. And I'm going to show you, as I should have it right here. There we go. And those coronal holes, there is our Earth's magnetic connectivity to the sun. Those coronal holes are down here in the south. Our magnetic connectivity to the sun is somewhere around the equatorial region here. They're not affecting us at all at the moment. Shouldn't be. So I'm just going to pull that out of the way. Let's move this out of the way. I'm going to show you, going to show you what was going on in 2015. Move this over here. Sorry, guys, I've got so many screens up now. It's going to be hard for me to juggle through them. Okay, this is our same graph. You know, the one we always look at all the time. Now, I want you to note, as we speed through this, I'm going to hit play while I'm talking. You're seeing blasts come in through this solar storm. But do we see the difference? It's a lot, let's say, a lot less intense. The colors coming in as the waves are coming in pale oranges. They're not coming in those huge, massive red bands. As we're watching the effects go on here, as these waves are coming in, they're not pushing the magnetic lines, the magnetic field lines, like what we're seeing today. Okay, I'm going to flash right fast forward through this so you can see. We can see all the same. The waves are coming in, and this is okay. I'll pause right here and say this is the reason why I say to people. A lot of people get all freaked out when they see these massive tangles of magnetic lines here in the graphs, and I say that's something we've always seen. It's just an indicator of the magnetic fields. It's while it's, let's say, significant, it's not unheard of. It is actually quite common during a geomagnetic storm. So I'm going to pass forward into this, and the same thing. As you're seeing these coming in, you saw the wave right there. So that one wave was just coming in. Look there, we see a wave is incoming. Take a look at the intensity colors that we're seeing. Okay, and we're going to skip right through this. You're seeing the waves are coming in and they are hitting the magnetopause. Okay, but we're not seeing anything like we saw yesterday. Okay, next one I will show you is the magnetopause position. Again, you're going to see massive disturbances. You're going to see the magnetopause is extremely distorted throughout this bombardment. But I want you to note, for example, the colorations, the difference in, let's say, densities. Okay, and again, I'm going to speed through this, but you can see, look at this, we're going through, we're seeing intensity in the back. We're seeing that. It is very, very common. We are seeing the pre-leading line, if you will. But again, look at the colors that you're seeing on the magnetopause itself. We're not seeing those massive reds and yellows, even for all the distortion that's going on. And it's being a KP7 storm. We're not seeing those kind of massive distortions. No, we're really going fast through here. And you notice, most of what we're seeing in intensity is here, right around Earth. We're not seeing it in other places like we do now. We get some bleed off here where it goes off to the side, but you can see, look at the distortion on the magnetopause to give you an idea of, like, the solar wind that was coming in was bombarding the magnetopause, and it was just a mess, as we can see. But again, look at the intensity colors. We're not seeing, although we saw a little bit of color there, we're seeing a little bit of color here. Nowhere near what we saw on the other ones. Now I'll pull up here. This shows us our solar wind velocity. Come on, pull it down. There we go. And I'm just going to show you this. You're looking at your numbers here. This is showing your solar winds here, your solar wind speeds. Okay, so we're just going to skim through this, and you can see that we're hitting, as blasts are coming in, you're seeing it's hitting 800, 900, 1,000. But again, look at the lack of intensity. Yeah, we've got, like, the reds are coming up, but they're not coming up. Hold on, can we hit play? Come on. My mouse is just not wanting to work today. We're not seeing these massive intensities. Look, 1,000, 1,900 kilometers per second. We're not seeing the intensity of colors that we were seeing today. Okay? Now I want to show you this. We showed you what our sun currently looks like. These two little tiny coronal holes that have no magnetic connectivity to Earth yet at all. They're not in a position to really connect. Okay? This is what our density did. This is what the feeds are showing the density. This was yesterday in the morning when we saw the spikes. This was this morning when we saw these massive, massive hits coming in. We're seeing a huge spike in the density. Okay? Here's the temperature. Same thing. Huge spikes in the temperature. Solar wind speed. We are seeing these extremely strange spikes that are happening out of the blue. Where are they coming from? They're not coming from the coronal holes. So what is it that is being measured here on the graphs? Now we know there's been just a ton of articles coming out talking about cosmic rays coming in have been the highest levels in the space age, as they're saying it right now. It looks like we're going to break the records for the highest levels of cosmic rays seen during the space age. Solar wind speed blips, and these are showing up not just on these. I'll show you here again. Move myself out of the way here. You can see them here. We're looking at the density here. Look at the scattering of the density. All the density stays flatlined here, and then all of a sudden, this same thing. Solar wind speed coming in, and then this massive array of just speckled mess. Temperature, exact same thing. Down here in the Kyoto, something's going on. Don't know what that's measuring. Something is obviously going on. Now, the other thing I want to show you is this. I show you guys this graphic all the time. This is from NASA, okay? Talking about the effects of geomagnetics and cosmic rays, solar flares, etc. on human health. Yesterday, the evening before yesterday, so today is, what, Tuesday? Today is Tuesday, so Sunday night in the evening, we hit 0 kp. Short time, just a short time. And we only bounced back to 1 kp, so it's not like it went up to a nice, easy 2, 3, 4 kp where things are nice and relatively balanced. The risks, okay, cardiac. A lot of cardiac risks, okay, like things like cardiac infractions and arrhythmia, strokes, psychiatric exacerbation, including suicide, anxiety, depression, bipolar, autoimmune systems being exacerbated, and look, this is interesting, okay? Seizures, migraines, cognitive diminution risks increase, melanin and light-based disorders. Now this is mirrored down below here when we talk about the solar flares. In the last 4 or 5 days, within our Unfuckers group, we have had a huge amount of reports of people with family members and friends and pets having strokes and having grand mal seizures. We have a pretty large group, but when all of a sudden you see these things come in a wave where it's like, no one is talking about this for months and months, and then all of a sudden we have a massive wave of heart incidences, which we did a few months ago, and now a massive amount of incidents of stroke and seizures. This is huge. We have to take note. So what's going on? What is going on? Where are these coming from? They're not coming from the sun. They're not coming from our sun. Can't be, because there's nothing to generate them. The sun right now is literally a blank disk. There is nothing on it. We have one spot that is so tiny, it is beyond insignificant. It is not even a pimple on a pimple. That's how small it is. Our geomagnetics are in the normal ranges. I'll show you right here. We'll look at this. Geomagnetics are in a total normal ranges. But something's going on. Something is obviously going on. So I wanted to leave that with you guys. I wanted to show you that difference between then and now, 2015 versus now, and the differences of the kinds of things that we're seeing in the graphs now that we've never seen before, and talk about just the risk factors and just make people very, very aware. Be aware. If you are in a high-risk group, if you have friends or family who are in a high-risk group, pets even, keep an eye on them, because things are pretty crazy. And that's it for me for now. I will see you guys tomorrow night for the Unfuck It discussion. And if anything else happens again, I'll be back. I'll talk to you later. Ciao, guys.